live every day as if it were the last, because before you know it, time goes past and life's just not that long. Tell all you love that you love them so, because even if you do, they might not know, and one day we'll all be gone. Taste the wind, don't let it blow on by.
Sugar is the gateway drug. Sugar is addictive as heroin, far more addictive than cocaine. White flour turns to sugar when digested. Sugar, white flour, sodas are slow poison. Diet sodas, artificial sweeteners are also slow poison. The earlier kids get addicted to sugar, the more likely they will stay addicted for life. Do most adults realize feeding kids sugar shit, candy, sodas, cake, ice cream, cookies, processed crap is child abuse? Sugar causes or worsens cancer, allergies, heart disease. Sugar causes or worsens all infections, including COVID, kidney stones, fat bodies, gallstones. Sugar causes or worsens arthritis, alcoholism, other drug addiction, asthma, weak bones, diabetes, indigestion, insomnia. Sugar causes or worsens headaches, depression, cataracts, high blood pressure, mental illness, more than 60 conditions. I have a friend here in Albuquerque whose mother is in the nursing home. I met her years ago. She has suffered diabetes for years, and now both of her legs are chopped off. Many years ago, my mother and I were both terribly addicted to sugar. Seeing her suffer hell for many, many years woke me up. And now I eat healthier than most millionaires or billionaires, even though I live on less than the U.S. poverty level for me as a single person. I eat no processed crap, no sugar shit, no white flour products, no artificial sweeteners. Sugar shit sickens and kills millions of people. Sugar is the gateway drug. So what do I do for sweets? I eat healthy sweets, whole, fresh fruit, lots of fruit, especially apples. I eat several apples every day. We need the whole, fresh fruit, not fruit juice. We need the fiber in the whole fruit. I immensely enjoy being strongly sexually attracted to certain men. Much more to a man's body than his cock and his face. And there's much more to a man than his body. My attraction for him never guarantees he's attracted to me. I aim to be friends with any man and any woman who sincerely wants my friendship. But I aim to flirt only with men I'm sexually attracted to, or with men I'm quite sure will not get mean and crazy, even if I find out they are not sexually attracted to me or to any man. I aim to respect the man's right to say no. I do not want to be a pest to any man, no matter how attracted I am to him. I aim not to beg, not to chase, not to pout if his answer is no. I treasure sex and passionate romance when it happens with certain healthy men, but I will not, for any man on earth, stop publicly damning all war and all nuclear weapons. I would treasure hot sex and passionate romance with certain healthy men, but I will not, for any man on earth, pay federal income tax for war. I treasure hot sex and passionate romance with certain healthy men, but I will not, for any man on earth, stop living simply. I will not eat meat, dairy, cooked food, and sugar shit for any man on earth, no matter how strongly attracted I am to him. And I will not stop living mostly naked when I'm warm enough. I treasure hot sex and passionate romance with certain healthy men, but I will not drink booze. I will not stop drinking my piss for health every day. My favorite contact sport is affectionate hot sex and cuddling. Sometimes cuddling is even more intimate than hot sex. Cuddling naked and sober with healthy men I'm attracted to and who are attracted to me. Why is a photo of two men boxers painfully beating, bruising, brain injuring each other considered okay in the sports section of newspapers in this nation? But a photo of two men passionately pleasuring each other in affectionate sex would be absolutely forbidden as obscene in those newspapers. Imagine a world where violence between men has no fans, and where passionate sex and romance between men are celebrated by all people, both men and women. And the same goes for celebrating passionate romance and sex between women and between a man and a woman. Eat lots of raw, dark, leafy greens. Raw, dark, leafy greens. Colitas, kale, collards, parsley, alfalfa, red clover. Eat them in a salad if you're blessed to still have your teeth, or in a blended smoothie for me, partly because of my severe addiction to sugar. When I was a kid in my 20s, all my teeth are gone. One stub left. Raw, dark, leafy greens remove poisons from our liver, rejuvenate our liver. Raw, dark, leafy greens fight bad germs and benefit our intestines' good germs that we need to be healthy. Raw, dark, leafy greens are high in protein for strength and bodybuilding. Raw, dark, leafy greens help constipation by stimulating the intestines. They help arthritis and reduce pain. Raw, dark, leafy greens help sore throat, stomach ulcers, and all skin infections. Raw, dark, leafy greens help our vision and help sores to heal. Help prevent and treat diabetes. reduce high blood pressure, relieve nervousness. Raw, dark, leafy greens prevent cancer, give us better sleep, make our bodies more flexible, strengthen our heart. Raw, dark, leafy greens build blood and benefit anemia, improve varicose veins. Raw, dark, leafy greens are high in vitamin C, oxygen, calcium, potassium, magnesium. And if you don't like the taste of them that well, blend them with your favorite fruit. Experiment with apples or bananas or pears, or just experiment with your blender and the greens and get as much greens as you can along with the fruit. I love close friends, warm, strong hugs, heart-to-heart conversations, the more deep and real and personal. I love personal questions, the better. I love and I need and I want visits from friends at my home. And I enjoy going to El Super grocery store, probably the largest Mexican grocery store in the state of New Mexico, to buy apples, avocados, persimmons, bananas. I enjoy going to the flea market at the fairgrounds, and during the growing season, summer and fall, to the Real Yards Growers Market and the downtown Growers Market. I enjoy going to Old Town, watching people, hearing music, and dancing for hours at the fiesta in early June. I enjoy living alone in my one-room, 9.5 by 12 feet, with 6 windows in the house of a friend. Millions of Christians and Jews for hundreds of years have loved the 23rd Psalm in the Bible. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. Now, the man who wrote that psalm was David. In the Bible, David was praised, now get this, praised for killing tens of thousands of people in other nations. Never once in the Bible did David apologize or repent for his mass murders of other human beings in other nations. David did express no regret, no sorrow for his mass murders. David killed far more people than any U.S. street gang leader. He killed far more people than any U.S. serial killer on death row. David had no conscience killing people in other nations. Sadly, millions of soldiers today in the United States, Germany, France, Russia, Ukraine, many nations, millions of soldiers believe God wants them to kill other human beings if their government tells them to. Crazy, evil, bullshit. Remember this when you hear a preacher, a rabbi, a priest read the 23rd Psalm. When will we see all people on earth as our family? 8 billion sisters and brothers. Our only home, Mother Earth, is getting hotter because of how many of us human beings, especially in the United States and Western Europe, have lived, especially the past 70 years. For thousands of years, the climate has never changed this fast. How many of us have lived, have heated the atmosphere, the ocean, and the land? How we've lived has heated the atmosphere, the ocean, and the land. Fast changes all over the earth. The last 7 years have been the hottest ever on record for Mother Earth. Less snowpacks in the mountains of New Mexico and other southwestern U.S. states. Faster runoff, making forests extremely dry. If the Earth's temperature rises just 0.7 degrees Fahrenheit in the next 20 years, expect more crazy, dangerous weather. More thunderstorms, more floods, more hurricanes, more tornadoes, rising oceans because of melting icebergs and melting glaciers, more droughts, more hellish forest fires earlier in the season. Thousands of climate scientists worldwide have studied this awful climate crisis for years. And these climate scientists know far more details about the climate crisis than I will ever know, far more. But do most of them make huge changes in how they live because of what they know? Do most of these educated climate scientists live much different than their neighbors who say there is no climate crisis? Do most of these educated climate scientists live much different than their neighbors who say human beings have not caused the climate crisis? How much good is it to study the climate crisis, memorize facts and figures like a computer, to fly or drive hundreds of miles, even thousands of miles to conferences on the climate crisis, if many of those who know the most refuse to make huge changes in how they live? But no matter how the climate scientists live, no matter how my friends, my neighbors live, I am responsible for how I live, for the home, the size of home that I live in, for how and how much I travel. And of course, planes and cars are the worst ways. Buses and trains are not as bad. The amount of water and electricity I use, what I buy, what I waste, what I eat. I am responsible for my actions, regardless what anyone else does. I am responsible for my example to others. And I'm deeply indebted to a great variety of many people who have opened my eyes and who have inspired me, people who have loved me, people who have taught me. With much help, we can change our lives for the better. Get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Not enough sleep demolishes our immune system. Not enough sleep doubles our risk of cancer. Not enough sleep sets us up for Alzheimer's. Not enough sleep can cause heart disease and strokes. Not enough sleep can lead to depression, anxiety, suicide. Not enough sleep can make people fat. Part of the reason for that is when people don't get enough sleep, they tend to eat more to try to push the accelerator to cope with little sleep in their lives. I strongly recommend the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker in our public library. It's the best book I know about how important enough sleep is to be healthy in our bodies and our minds. Besides 7 to 9 hours every night, a nap, a siesta in the early afternoon, 20 minutes to an hour, helps to be healthy. Very good for our hearts and for us to live long. Prescription drugs and some diseases can keep older people from getting the sleep everyone needs. Enough sleep helps our memory. Enough sleep makes us more creative. Enough sleep helps how we look to be more attractive. Enough sleep protects from cancer and dementia, keeps us lean and slim, lowers the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Not enough sleep, lowers the risk of diabetes and helps us to be happier, less depressed, less anxious, easier to live with, helps prevent colds, flu, and COVID-19. Driving when sleepy is more dangerous than driving drunk. Sadly, I foolishly drove sleepy many times, many years ago. No wonder my mother worried so much that I would crash. If I had my life to live over knowing what I know now, I would aim to change many things. I would aim never to drive sleepy. I could have killed or injured other people and myself. I strongly oppose driving when sleepy or driving after drinking booze. I strongly oppose all drinking booze, period. I've not driven any vehicle for over 20 years. I drink not one drop of the slow poison, booze. Not enough sleep can worsen PTSD and schizophrenia and all mental illness. The epidemic of not enough sleep is one of the worst health problems in this nation and other industrialized nations. Nothing can substitute for enough sleep. Yes, we need to eat only healthy, raw plant foods. We need to walk and exercise much. We need sunshine on our naked skin. We need close friendships. We need to forgive ourselves and others. We need to apologize and ask forgiveness. But none of these can substitute for enough sleep if we want to live long and healthy and not feel rotten. Aim for 7 to 9 hours in bed every night, no exceptions. Never consider yourself lazy, or never consider other people lazy for getting enough sleep. When I was about 13, my mother saw me pleasuring my cock. My mother had no brothers. I'm quite sure she never saw my older brother or my dad or her dad or any male pleasuring his cock. she insisted that I promise not to do it. And I was terribly torn between the promise not to masturbate and my wanting the wonderful pleasure on my cock. So for years, I did it in different ways from when she saw me and caught me and insisted that I promise not to do it. But I'm glad that eventually my mother changed. And I told her I am gay soon after I first had sex with any male in my life when I was 31. A few years later, she told me she wished she could be a mouse in the corner. In other words, to watch me have sex with a man. Sadly, that never happened. I wish it had. If you are a mother or father and you happen to see your son or your daughter pleasuring him or herself sexually, say nothing negative, please. Nothing negative. Do not frown. Do not act shocked. Sincerely compliment them for giving their bodies good sexual feelings. No shame, no guilt. Tell them often it is best to do it when they're alone because many people do not want to see them do it. Sadly, millions of youth have loads of shame and guilt about enjoying sex. Shame and guilt from their parents, from their religion. And many youth turn to booze and other drugs to drown their shame and their guilt about sex. Enjoy masturbating and help your children if it comes up in conversation or you happen to see them. Help them appreciate the pleasure with no shame, no guilt. Death begins in the colon. Months and years of constipation cause and worsen many diseases. It's like a plugged up sewer in your body. To have large, soft, healthy shits 1, 2, or 3 times a day, we need to eat lots of fiber. Foods from animals, meat and dairy, have no fiber. None. Zero. Foods like the meat, the milk, the cheese, the ice cream, the yogurt, cottage cheese have no fiber. Eggs, fish, chicken have no fiber. Meat, bacon, sausage, hamburgers, steaks have no fiber. Juices have no fiber. Donuts, cookies, cakes, pies, pie crusts made from white flour have very little fiber. Macaroni, fry bread, noodles, spaghetti, bread, bagels made from white flour have very little fiber. So, if you want large, healthy, soft shits 1, 2, or 3 times a day, eat healthy, whole plant foods, preferably raw, soaked and blended lentils, beans, carrots, brown rice, whole grains, fresh, ripe fruit, raw, not salted nuts that are shelled just before eating, because if you buy the shelled seeds and nuts, many of them go rancid outside of their shell. And rancid fat is very unhealthy. Raw pumpkin seeds, raw sunflower seeds, berries, vegetables, dark greens. Lots of good fiber. Constipation is a serious problem only for people who eat mostly meat, dairy, and modern processed crap in packages, bottles, boxes, and cans. And at McDonald's and other fast food slow poison joints. Be sure your fresh fruit is ripe. Sour fruit tends to slow down shitting. Sweet fruit tends to speed up shitting. I've studied health, natural health, for 47 years. Hundreds of articles, books, speakers, documentaries, conversations, my own experiences. There's always more to learn about health. And sometimes I need to learn the same thing over and over again. Months ago, I bought some Granny Smith apples that were not ripe, and I put them in my blended smoothies. Granny Smith apples are rather sour, even more so when they're not ripe. And my shit became smaller and harder. That's not good. I learned again. Besides eating high-fiber, healthy plant foods, soaked prunes, better than just the prune juice, soaked prunes, raw honey, mulberries, freshly ground or freshly blended flaxseed, work up to 1 tablespoon 3 or 4 times a day, 1 or 2 teaspoons of fenugreek seed 3 times a day, freshly blended, freshly ground. All of these can help avoid constipation. Leaves of the aloe vera plant, 1 inch of fresh ginger root, lots of walking or jumping on a small trampoline for 30 or 45 minutes a day can help us shit healthy. And be sure to drink enough water or piss, as I do. At least 1/3 of the global greenhouse gas emissions are caused by animal agriculture, growing animals, chickens, cows, pigs, so that people who are addicted to meat, milk, cheese, and ice cream get their fix. It takes many times as much land to feed a meat eater as it does to feed someone eating plants only. Because people eating only plant foods like seeds and nuts and vegetables and fruit and medicinal herbs and beans and lentils consume the crops directly instead of funneling them through animals first. In the United States, 56 million acres of land are used to grow feed for animals so people can eat the meat and the dairy, while only 4 million acres are producing plants for humans to eat. More than 90% of all Amazon rainforest land since 1970 is used for grazing cattle. So if we give a damn about people starving, and especially with the global population still expanding, and the climate crisis, which may worsen growing conditions on Earth, eat only plant foods for the earth's health, for your health, and for the millions of hungry people who need to eat. Animal agriculture requires an enormous amount of water, both for the animals to drink directly and in order to grow crops for them to eat, all just to produce meat and dairy. Just by eating only plant foods, a person can save over 200,000 gallons of water a year. Think of that. It takes more than 11 times as much gas and other fossil fuel to produce protein from animal sources as it does to produce the same amount of protein from grain. Animals raised for food in the United States produce many times more shit than the entire human population in this country. Because there are no animal sewage processing plants, it is most often stored in waste lagoons that can be seen in views from up high, from planes or satellites, of factory farms, or it is sprayed over fields. Runoff from factory farms, that animal shit, is one of the leading reasons why our rivers and our lakes are poisoned. Commercial fishing nets often clear the ocean floor of all life, destroy coral reefs, kill dolphins, birds, sea lions, and other bycatch animals. Coastal fish farms release massive amounts of shit, antibiotics, parasites, non-native fish into lakes, streams, and oceans. The chickens, pigs, turkeys, fish, and cows are intelligent. They're social animals who can suffer and feel pain and fear, just as we do, just as dogs and cats can. Billions of animals are imprisoned, mutilated, violently killed by the U.S. meat, dairy, and egg industries every year. And I grew up on a farm. And for years I was addicted to meat. And my parents owned the oldest cattle and hog market in the county. But I changed. I woke up. We can change. And just because you always ate meat or you grew up on the farm doesn't mean you got to do it till the day you die. We can wise up. The head of France many years ago, Napoleon, said, now get this, any of you that are thinking of going into the military, if my soldiers knew the truth and what they're fighting for, they would walk off the battlefield. Napoleon said that. Albert Einstein said our textbooks glorify war and conceal or hide its horrors. He said, I would teach peace rather than war, love rather than hate, how despicable war is. Albert Einstein said, it is my conviction that killing under the cloak of war is nothing more than an act of murder. King of Prussia, not Russia, King of Prussia, Frederick the Great, said, if my soldiers were to begin to think, not one of them would remain in the army. And parents, are you proud of your sons and daughters who become professional hired killers for the U.S. empire? How sad, how terrible, how evil. Many years ago, a black preacher here in Albuquerque visited me. He was married to a woman, but he was desperate for sex with a man. I did not have sex with him. Most men, most white men, most black men, most brown men, I am not sexually attracted to. Some brown men, some black men, some white men, I am strongly sexually attracted to. I connected the black preacher to a close gay friend of mine, and they had sex. And one of the best kept secrets worldwide is the millions, many millions, of bisexual and bi-curious men who love sex and romance with one or more women, but want sex also with men. I remember my very attractive dear friend Eric. Eric had sex with many women, many men. He had several children by different women. I wonder if Eric knew how many children he fathered. I well understand Eric's enjoyment of sex. But how much better if he had always used birth control with women, unless he was ready, able, and willing to be a good father to that child. Eric and I never had sex. I certainly was attracted to him. He was hot and sexy. He used to sell at the Fairgrounds Flea Market many years ago, shirt-free, wearing a hard hat like men in the music group YMCA. Sadly, Eric died from drugs some years ago. Natural health books disagree sometimes. Even if I disagree with someone on most of what he or she says, I still often learn some important things from that person. It's like buying a pair of shoes. Try out living something you read in a health book. See if it works for you. And here are some health books, all of them in our public library in Albuquerque. How Not to Die by Michael Greger, Greger. How Not to Die by Michael Greger, medical doctor. And he's not saying this is how to live forever. No. He is saying in order to help prevent and treat the 15 leading causes of death in the United States, what to do. And all 15, you're much less likely to suffer and die from those diseases if you cut out meat, or at least cut down greatly, if you can't cut it out all at once. It's better to do it gradually and stick with it than to plunge in and say, I'm going to do this, and then back out later because you say, I can't hack it. How to live to a healthy old age before we die, he talks about in his nutritionfacts.org. Nutritionfacts.org, a popular website. And he's not saying, just cut out meat and the rest of the American diet is okay. Hell no. Cut out meat and eat only healthy plant foods. How Not to Die by Michael Grieger, MD. Lots of wisdom. Beating Cancer with Nutrition by Patrick Quillin, 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 PhD. Beating Cancer with Nutrition. He points out clearly that sugar feeds cancer, and if you want to prevent cancer or treat cancer you already have, stop eating anything containing processed added sugar. If you ate and lived unhealthy for many years, making healthy changes may cause you to feel worse for a while. Feel worse for days or weeks, months, even years if you lived bad, unhealthy for many, many years. Because your body is getting rid of the poisons. You're detoxing. It's much like cleaning a room that has been empty for many years and not cleaned in those years. And at first, as you stir up the dust, sweeping, it may look worse than before you started cleaning that room. And in this book, Beating Cancer with Nutrition, some very important things that he says. Florence Nightingale, founder of modern nursing, said about 1900, nature alone cures. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, 400 BC, said, natural forces within us are the true healers. Antoine Béchamp from France, MD and PhD, said about 1900, germs do not cause disease in the real sense. Something happens in the body to allow the germs to become invasive. Albert Schweitzer, MD, Nobel laureate, said, each patient carries his own doctor inside him. Louis Pasteur, on his deathbed, he was a founder of microbiology. He had studied germs for many, many years. But on his deathbed, he said, the germ is nothing, the terrain is everything. Thomas Edison, inventor with over 1,000 patents, said the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will involve the patient in the proper use of food, fresh air, and exercise. We all began drinking our piss when we were inside our mama's womb. The womb's amniotic fluid surrounding the baby is largely the baby's piss. And people who say drinking piss is gross and they could never do such a thing, well, they drank their piss long before they drank formula, breast milk, or water. Our piss is filtered blood. As our blood circulates in our bodies, a healthy liver removes poisons first, because the blood goes first. The poisons go to our intestines from the liver and into our shit. And then the cleaner blood from a healthy liver goes to the kidneys. Our kidneys balance the body's good elements and remove any surplus not needed at that moment. When leaves fall from trees in the fall, those leaves are not waste, not poison to the trees. Trees grow well when they feed on fallen leaves. And piss is not waste, not poison to our bodies. Our piss is our fountain of life, our unique, perfect, living medicine containing hundreds. One source said thousands, but I would rather be accused of understating instead of exaggerating, containing hundreds of vitamins, hormones, including sex hormone, minerals, and enzymes. Drinking our piss purifies our blood, kills bad germs. Drinking our piss provides nutrients, signals our body how to heal and balance our whole system precisely. Drinking our piss is the best medicine for kidney problems. I wish I had known that when my mother was living over 40 years ago. She died of kidney disease. Drinking piss and massaging our body with piss is the most effective and safest natural healer, and it's free. Drinking piss, massaging the body with piss have helped or healed cancer, diabetes, hepatitis. Drinking piss, massaging the body with piss have helped or healed multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, allergies, herpes, hyperactivity, tuberculosis, depression, heart problems, schizophrenia, almost all physical and emotional illnesses. A powerful natural tranquilizer instead of expensive pharmacy drugs that have bad side effects. Our first morning piss is highest in hormones. Piss is great for open wounds. Piss is usually more sterile than distilled water. And for best results in drinking piss, drink no booze, no coffee, eat no meat, no dairy, for best results. Now, you can still get some results if you do these things, but for best results, no junk food, no cooked food, smoke no cigarettes, use no table salt, no drugs of any kind from pharmacy or the streets. All people who take pharmacy or street drugs should start off with a few drops of piss by mouth, or use piss for massage and compresses to avoid overdosing, because some of those drugs are in the piss. The more piss we drink, the more our body detoxifies, the faster our healing. In severe cases, eating no food, drinking all of our piss and purified water can work best. The healthier we are, the healthier what we eat, the better our piss tastes. It's true. For at least 9,000 years in Mexico, 5,000 years in India, and for centuries in many other places, millions have drunk their piss for health. Writers from England, Germany, France, India, Israel, the Philippines, the Netherlands, and the United States have praised drinking piss to get healthy and to stay healthy. And I strongly recommend these 3 books. If the local library doesn't have them, you can probably get all 3 free through interlibrary loan from other libraries across the country. Urine Therapy by 2 women from Germany, Flora Peschek-Bomer, PhD, and Gisela, there we go, Schrader, urine therapy, nature's elixir for good health. And The Water of Life by John W. Armstrong of England. My favorite of the three is The Golden Fountain, The Complete Guide to Urine Therapy by Cohen, C-O-E-N, Vander Kroon, V-A-N-D-E-R, Kroon, K-R-O-O-N. And he's from the Netherlands. This is packed with testimonials and excellent information on piss drinking to be healthy. Piss in a clear glass or a plastic cup to check your piss's color. Aim for light yellow. If your piss is dark, drink more water. Now, just after a meal, piss may be rather dark because of B vitamins in the food you ate. Most of the time, dark piss, not soon after meals, can show you're dehydrated. I have drunk my piss every day since November 10th, 1999, over 23 years. Usually 2 cups early in the morning. As I exercise, drink only fresh piss. Never drink aged piss. Because after several days, the urea changes to ammonia in aged piss, causing a strong smell. But that aged piss is good for using as detergent to wash your clothes. They did that in Germany and in Rome. Fresh or aged, good for fertilizing the garden and trees. But put it on the soil, not on the leaves. And for young plants, dilute 1 part piss with 10 or more parts water. Drug companies have researched for years ingredients in piss to make drugs to treat sterility, cancer, heart disease, drugs that will make huge profits for the drug companies. So, of course, these drug companies do not tell the public about the health benefits of drinking one's whole, fresh, free piss. They want your money. Follow the money. And go healthy. Drink your own fresh piss instead of those damn drugs. I warmly thank Mark and Eddie for their excellent help, dozens and dozens of times, running the cameras and the controls for this program. And thanks to all of you watching. If you see me walking on the street here in Albuquerque or at some event, please, if you're interested, talk with me. And feel free to ask any personal question. I love personal questions. I learned to be open in my close friendship with my all-time closest friend, my mother, who died 41 years ago this month when I was 36. To our health, good night.
Sing songs of love, let the music get you high, and when it's said and done, you'll know the sun will shine on. And when it's said and done, you'll know the sun will shine on.